It's 7:34 a.m. in Trinidad and Tobago, and of course, it's a few days before Christmas, and we are in the Christmas spirit. Joining us this morning in studio is Miss Lisa Charles of Lisa Charles Designs. And y'all, let me tell you something, the table is out. And there's a tool belt there. So this is some serious homemade Christmas decor on a budget. Lisa, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm excellent. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. And we're very excited because we have a wreath in front of us. But the biggest thing right now is the tool belt.
It's my favorite thing, honestly.
It is.
It is.
So when we first came in, you said that you don't do anything without this tool belt on.
Nothing.
So share with us this morning a little bit about your journey as a designer, but also what we're going to be doing with all of these contraptions here.
All right, so I'll tell you, firstly, we are, defined by our expertise.
Right.
Driven by passion. I had this passion for Christmas altogether. You know, my dream someday is to have a Christmas building.
Oh.
All right. All around the year. I think it's possible and it's going to happen. All right, so I just like to see things perfect.
Okay.
And I remember going into this building and seeing garlands stuck on the wall with electrical tape. And I said, Lisa, you could bring a solution. And I'm all about bringing solutions.
Right.
And adding value.
Okay.
And I started this business out of passion and my gift to decorate. All right. And I gradually developed my skill set and we went from there. So
let's see these skills on display. We're doing a wreath today, right?
a wreath.
Okay.
Correct. So what I'll say firstly is, normally some people get their wreath and you see it crunched up like this.
Right.
What you want to do is to make sure your first thing is that you're going to fluff your wreath and make sure you give it enough body.
Okay.
Right? I always tell people, if you're on a budget and you don't have a lot to spend on a tree, on your decor, on a wreath, on anything,
Yeah.
fluff properly and then you do good lighting.
All right. So that's the first tip. Fluff properly and good lighting.
That's right.
Okay. Now, this is an at-home project a lot of people can do, right? DIY. I see you have everything organized, but share with us while you're doing this, perhaps some of your favorite projects or one of the biggest projects that you've worked on.
So this year, one of our biggest projects was based in Santa Cruz. Turned out to be one of my favorites simply because this guy had a lot of personality and he really, I call him Mr. Christmas.
Oh, okay. Mr.
Right?
Christmas.
And the team just kind of came together and did something for him that would blow him out of his water. And I'll tell you something, he is very particular about the way he has his stuff done.
Okay.
So we went from ground up, every single shrub around his building, around his home, rope lights on the ground, the walkway. I really love the way he gave attention to his home. And so we went from ground up to rooftop, all the way inside, all the way to the pool area, back, front, sides, everything.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So that was one of my most favorite projects this year.
Yeah.
Also getting into corporate space of, new corporate accounts. That was pretty exciting for us this year as well.
That's wonderful to hear. It sounds very exciting. The first project sounds super exciting.
Yes.
Like that makes your Christmas.
It did.
So while this is being done here, and I really notice how intricately you're doing it as well, which is so important because, sometimes you just see lights just sort of all over the place.
Hanging all over the place. So what you want to do is just kind of wrap this because it's fairy lights. It's easy to work with. And then sometimes you want to put lights, but you don't want this big cord hanging.
Listeners, you just heard me gasp. Lisa, I'm so sorry, but on the screen right now, is this one of the projects that you were speaking about?
The
oh
gentleman.
My goodness.
This is it.
It is a Caribbean Christmas wonderland.
Absolutely is. We love this one. We loved all. Okay, this is just another one as well.
Oh, wow.
So you want to keep looking? You
Oh, sorry. You got me excited there. Oh.
So, yeah, you were telling us about the fairy lights and the equal distribution.
Right. So it's easy to wrap around these. See? So very comfortable to, I was saying before that you don't want a big cord running.
Yes.
And people don't really always know. So the mere fact that this is battery operated and you could work into your greenery like this makes it very easy. And, Right.
Nice.
So what you're gonna do next is, I always look for something big, whether it's gonna be a bow or flower or ribbons at times. You're gonna look for something big, right? So I had my shears here. I actually cut this one before, right? Never be afraid to work with your stuff.
Right.
And fluffing is always very important. So I'm gonna bend this, put it in.
See, there's a technique to everything.
All right, and this is my secret. Tie strap it. This way, when you hang it up, it's not just gonna fall off.
Okay, yeah. Caller from Maloney, I know you're still watching us right now, and we're trying to get into the Christmas spirit, as you can see, and I'm sure you're going to get some parang as well as the show continues this week. Lisa, zip ties, something that not everybody has thought about.
Correct.
I love it.
I mean, you could do it the other way, but it may fall off.
Yeah, after you mentioned the electrical tape that you saw a while back, we'll stick to the zip ties, I think, for sure.
I just have it hooking here. Right. You could always bend your excess in. And then just to add different textures to your wreath.
Okay.
Now, people tend to do wreath, and the first thing they see is like they want to put a leaf that's flat.
Yeah.
Right? I like to see things pop out. Right?
So you give it serious dimension.
That's right.
Okay.
You want to give your wreath, bend this now to the shape of your wreath.
Okay.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. So that's another tip. Do not be afraid to work with what you have.
Correct.
Because sometimes you are afraid you might break it,
That's
or
right.
you know, it's not going to sit
And
well.
listen, these came all clumped up.
Oh, so you
can
open these up.
Open these up. Come on. Look, you could get a different size, a different look.
Ooh. And the fact that you fluffed the wreath earlier makes it easier for these items to actually sit within it.
Correct.
Ah, there's a science to this thing, Trinidad and Tobago.
Sometimes we want it to look like what we see on the shelf, and we don't really know how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of basically digging in and getting deep. I see you have some pine cones here as well, so we're going to incorporate those.
Yes.
Wonderful.
It's really based on your personality. I came with a couple of things, and I said, you know what, let's see if the pine cones go well.
Okay.
You know, and that's the next thing. Sometimes you have something sitting around the house
Yes.
that you didn't use in a year or two, but I'll tell you something, you bring it back the year after, it looks brand new. People are like, oh my God, where did you get that from? And I'd be like, I had this 2 years sitting
Wonderful.
around.
So don't be afraid to go into what you may have had from maybe years before, pull it out, see how it can flow into, because I'm looking at, so this poinsettia that you have here, this fabric one.
Right.
And I mean, it's burlap and cloth, right?
Yes.
So not particularly your regular glittery, so you can take things from throughout the year and you can
Correct.
use it on your wreath.
And that's, again, for persons who don't want all the bling, right? I mean, if you give me a chance, I will bling.
I mean, I feel you.
We see a change.
All right. So, you know, so I'm going to show you how easy. You're going to need some of these tools.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, what are you using here?
This is a shape. See how easy? Now, when I started this business, I used to use a scissors, and I'll tell you, I'm breaking a sweat trying to cut this thing with a scissors. So you grow, you learn,
And
you
you
develop.
use shears. So we have about a minute and a half left before we go to break.
All right.
So taking a look, you are working quite swiftly, I have to say. Look at this. In about 10 minutes, you have built a beautiful, or created rather, a beautiful wreath that looks as though it took a good few hours.
Yes, ma'am. All right. We're
Wow,
almost
Lisa,
there.
you have us in the Christmas spirit. We're all in the Christmas spirit now.
Oh, we weren't before.
Well, we're just adding to. This is absolutely
I'm
gorgeous.
sure you're going to want this wreath for your door. I'm sure you're going to want it.
I'm already like, okay, I need to be able to replicate this when I get home. I don't know how, but I'm going to get it done.
All right. And we're going in. Right now, I'm just bending it in.
Right.
But if you want to secure it more, like I said, tie straps. And there we go. Right, you could pop these in as well.
All right, we have 30 seconds
30
left.
seconds,
I feel
30
like we're on a
seconds.
reality show. You know, one of those Christmas reality shows? But that's okay because this is the clear winner. We've got pine cones coming in. We've got poinsettias. We have, I don't know what the proper term is for those with the curls. These are poinsettias.
Okay.
Yes, they
Look
are.
at that. Trinidad and Tobago decor at home. Lisa Charles, homemade Christmas decor on a budget. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for making Trinidad brighter. And thank you for staying tuned to the Now Morning Show. There's more coming up after this. Oh, wow.